Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode of Grim Dawn, I've got a new build series kicking off today, and we are going to be basing a build around a weapon rather than around a character class. So, if you look at this class and say, why is a Blade Master carrying a gun? Well, shut up. So anyway, it's a YouTube video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe your heart out because we're going to get into this Soldier Nightblade gameplay. And we're only level 20, so we're starting off pretty early on. And I do have some big points into, not cadence, but it is cadence's modifier. What is that called? Fighting form. There we go. Fighting form gives you a chance for the cadence bullet to pass through people, and since I've got so many points in it right now, it's basically always going to pass through, so it is some decent wave clear. We've also got some component abilities in our slam here that does also work on ranged attacks, so super easy to get a big bullet from our gun with that. And then we've got our Phantasmal Blades on our Q, since this class has absolutely no mobility when using a gun, which is kind of hilarious and awful at the same time. Get that guy out. Now, the caveat to all of this is that the ranged character will be doing a lot of damage, but will ultimately be pretty squishy, and we do want to have enough damage from our auto attacks to clear rooms, clear lines of enemies, and keep ourselves relatively safe. Since it's so early on and we're in normal still, we can get a lot of traction out of this playstyle, but as the game goes on, we're going to need some defensive abilities. We also have our, we have a component giving us impaling weapons, which is increasing some pierce damage, and then we have Veil of Shadow on as well from the Nightblade class, which is good defensively. I think it's slowing down attacks, and let's see. No, it's just removing offensive ability and slowing total speed. So we're making people slower and attack slower, while reducing their ability to hit us as well if they get within melee range. Which isn't bad. They don't make it a melee range very often, but at some point they will, so having the points in there isn't the worst thing in the world at the moment. I don't have a whole lot of money right now, so I can't finish crafting my entire Explorer set, which is a little bit unfortunate, but I do have a Tonic of Clarity going in the background. Because it was taking a little while to get to level 20, and I was kind of sick of trudging through, and I want to get this video going. So, here we go. You can see the Tonic of Clarity is, or Potion of Clarity is a little bit more than halfway done, and our Explorer's Foot Pads, as well as Explorer's Chest Piece Tunic, that's what it's called, are giving us an additional 10% bonus XP. We've also got a medal on that's giving us like 3% on top of that for bonus XP, I think. So that's cool. But gear isn't really super important right now, apart from what can give us extra XP and kind of help us run it down quicker. Now I will take a look at the skills for you here real quick, and we can see where all those points are. Since fighting form is eating up a lot of the points, we don't even have the bars maxed out for, well, we wouldn't have the bars maxed out for our classes anyway, but there are most of my points into fighting form, whereas I still need points into Phantasmal Blades, and then also into Cadence, so we can increase Cadence's damage while it pierces through people. Now we do have 10 points into... we do have 10 points into Dual Blades, which is increasing our piercing damage, as well as giving us piercing, cold, and physical resistance, which is pretty cool. That is pretty nice in and of itself. And then we have got Cadence here with 7, That's going to be giving us physical damage every third attack. It's got 2 charge levels. I don't know how that's supposed to read. That's kind of weird. But every third attack is going to be bigger and hurt more, and it has a 94% chance to pass through enemies with a 4 target maximum on that. I've also got 1 into Zolhans and 1 into Markovians, just because having those hit on our autos as well is going to help them do some big damage. But you'll notice right here, Blitz has to have a melee weapon, and Shadow Strike also has to have a melee weapon, so we have 0 mobility skills. As far as devotions go, we're building out towards Azraka and Unknown Soldier. So right now we're starting with Harpy, and then I'm going to get another point into our blue tree once I've got this shrine cleansed. Which doesn't appear to be very difficult. Not super strong enemies yet. I'm not sure how the Warden fight is going to go. That should be happening relatively soon, so that could be interesting, seeing as how I'll be doing a lot of running around, trying to dodge stuns, trying to dodge his ranged attack while hitting him with my own. And since all of my stuff is kind of based on piercing, well, piercing through people, passing through enemies in a line, that's not going to do me a whole lot of good when shooting a single dude, trying to put down the most damage I can. But at the same time, you know, it's a boss fight. We'll figure out how the build works there. You can see we do have a pretty nifty little ability on our shoulders. It's called Spine Nova. We're using, oh, I forget what they're called. They're spiky shoulders, but we have a chance when we get hit to drop a Nova of spines. 30% chance when hit does piercing damage, and we're totally dumping into piercing damage right now. Also giving us some health, which is really cool. Razorback's Spined Mantle. Alright, goodbye, Darlet. See you in a little bit. Gotta put that one into blue. Open up the blue tree and go over. Nope, we're good. Everything is solid. Cadence piercing through everybody, being super helpful. And piercing is also helping with armored enemies, so that should start showing up pretty soon here in the useful category. Really like it when stuff works the way that I feel like it's going to work. Let's see. I don't want to jump out the other door. I am actually trying to clear as much as possible because I want to get as big of a use as I can out of my potion of clarity while we're still going. Looks like we got about 20 minutes or so left on it, and that is a big deal. We're almost level 21. I'm pretty sure we can hit 22 before that bad boy runs out. Attack speed going absolutely nuts as butts right now. Nice. Knock down this wall with my gun. Steal everything that this man tried to hide from me. You're a corpse. You don't need it where you're going, sir. I'll take it off your hands. Let's see. What's the shield do? Nothing that I need, but I will take that their metal. I like new metals. Now, this build ultimately is all based around one weapon. So, that weapon is the Slugger. This is the slugging build. We're going to slug people. His name is Sir Slugs. That is how this is going to work. But the good news is that weapon does have a mythical version. So, as soon as I find the base version, which is supposed to be available from level 18 to use, I will be equipping it. And then there is an empowered version that you can get at 58, and then the final mythical version is available at 94. That being said, the stats on it, they're very basic since it's just an epic weapon. It's not a purple weapon. It doesn't modify how any abilities work or anything like that, but we're building into that, and we'll likely be building around the stats that it's going to give us. I just really would like to find one so I could start you know, using it. I'm kind of using just a regular old gun right now that is painted to look like the Slugger, which is unfortunate. Nothing out of that monster shrine, which is really disappointing. Let's see here. Well, what do we pick up? Shield training. I'm not going to use that, though. Please. Ugh, Acolyte score isn't good either. Anything there? Nope. Well, too late now. Not going to sit there and waste time reading gear that isn't the Slugger. So the offhand that I'm using right now is Kavrov's Bone. Or I think that's what it's called, right? Carvor's Bone. Conjuring Bone. I got a little bit dyslexic with it, so that's fine. But the bone summons a little doggy. You can see him up there. He does a bit to tank some aggro for us, and I believe he restores some health. I could be wrong there, but he's helpful. I mean, he pulls aggro. You've seen me use this this item any number of times up until this point, so pretty early on in the game, I think it's got its own usefulness and should be applauded and used as often as possible, as is needed for your build. But since we're going with offhands on this class, no shields, there are a couple books that have soldier skills and physical damage in them that's going to be really helpful. So keeping an eye out for those as well. Let me think. What are those specifically? What are the names of those things? They're all brown books. I think Dementia might be one of them. Gosh, I cannot remember. I don't use them very often. I've never really had a use for a build like that, but now that I want to do this one, I definitely want to give those shooter soldier books a shot, at least a fair shot. Who knows if they'll keep until the end game, but chances are we'll find something pretty useful towards the end. You can also get Cadence to do elemental damage, I think. I'm 99% sure there is a modifier. We can check that right now, actually. Yeah, there it is. It'll convert the damage to elemental, so if you want to switch off from doing physical, internal trauma, and piercing, you can do elemental damage instead. Get that sweet-ass lore bonus from all these books. Warden Krieg's journal. Gotta read the journal of the sadist real quick for some additional XP. Devil-touched ammo. I really need a new gun, but I guess I could use Darlet to remove my components at the moment. That would probably help put on the new components, but I kind of just want to farm. We're almost level 22, probably got about 15 minutes left on the Potion of Clarity. My mind is clear, my potion is conveying clarity, so I shall experience faster and swifter. His name is Sir Slugs, by the way. He is a knight of great renown who uses a book and a gun to fend off his enemies. Willing and able to defend the crown. Whose crown, though? I'm not sure. Definitely post-apocalyptic scenario. Probably not a whole lot of king and queens left to defend. But you know what? If there were, Sir Slugs would be the first in line. Camping out in a tent, just like he did last year. Whoop. We've also got Pneumatic Burst. I've got a single point into that because having heal button is always pretty helpful. Taking random damage is, you know, it's kind of unavoidable in big grouped enemy scenarios unless you have so much fun kiting that you never get hit. But honestly, sometimes I just want to stand still and unload my gun. Piercing through. Yes, I love it when there's corridors or long hallways, because the bullets just rip through the entire place, and we can take people out. The cadence bullets are still hitting pretty hard, even if they're not maxed out, but you know what? Who needs to be maxed out when you're killing a whole bunch of bad guys all at once? We also have the Phantasmal Blades going. They're technically AoE, but they do get kind of stuck on people the closer you are to them. So, not the greatest thing in the world, but, you know, they're trying their best. They're doing... We could be using the modifier for the Phantasmal Blades, but I'm not super into the Frenetic Throw, especially when most of my kit is kind of based on the shooties. Phantasmal Blades is just kind of a cleanup skill that I'm using in the background for the moment. Oop, that's scary. Slam is also pretty useful because it just gives us kind of like this relatively short cooldown nuking bullet ability, which is helpful for sure when it comes to taking down single targets. Soiled Trousers, why? I want the gun, please, sir. I need the gun that I'm asking for. If you could just give that to me so I could be on my merry way. Could be worse, could be better. At least enemies are fighting each other. Oof. We are 22. Man, we may actually even be able to make it to 23 before the clarity, the tonic of clarity, potion of clarity, the clarity potion wears off. Why are they not setting off my Spine Nova? They're actually attacking very slow, so maybe that's got something to do with it. I watched the Candyman for the first time yesterday, and it was kind of a fucking trip. So I have that rattling around in the back of my noggin too. Anytime I see bees or insects in this game, and I'm like, oh, I see what you're doing. I'm not gonna say that 5 times in a mirror. But you know what? I definitely liked the way that that movie wrapped up. It was pretty cathartic. Pretty impressive stuff. No spoilers here, though, so I'm going to stop talking about it and get back to shooting spiders. Oh, now let's see. Still opening every chest, trying to find this gun, and it just is not going to happen. So let's take our 6 points right now. And, you know, we're going to dump them. No, I'm going to get this up to 7. We'll get 7 into Phantasmal Blades, and then I'll put an additional point into both Markovian and Zolhan as well. So our Phantasmal Blades should be hitting quite a bit harder now to help offset anybody who's making it through our bullets, and that seems to be the case. Broken wall there, pick that up. Another little shortcut. There are lots of these little hidden nooks and crannies in the Warden Cellar, so I definitely recommend checking every wall that you walk through, because there is some fancy stuff hidden around in here. You could also use a Grim Tools map if you really wanted to, but you know, that's the thing. Sometimes I just like the feeling of exploring. I like to be the explorer. Also, there will not be a Grim Tools link for this build until the final video, so if that is what you are looking for, you will not find it. Don't worry about your build until it is done. We gotta figure out how the build works, how the weapons are all going to go together, and how stuff is going to normalize at level 100 before we can commit to a build. So, you know. Which is something I'm noticing with my Reaper build really isn't... That build is not complete. The gear on that build is super outdated and needs to be adjusted. But unfortunately, I've spent a lot of money and progress from that class on other classes, so it is getting kind of tossed around. I do have another 100 class, though, that I'm looking to make some Celestial boss guides on. That is my warder, Wigglestein, and she does some crazy ridiculous damage with a physical internal trauma, and I think it's just those two. It might be some pierce damage too, but mostly physical and trauma damage, and she absolutely slaps. I found Kubacabra again with that build running along just kind of out in the open in Gloomwald, and we threw down, and I actually sliced that motherfucker to pieces. It was fantastic. She is a lot less tanky than my Reaper is, but at the same time, since she can do so much damage, I have a feeling it'll work out a little bit better. Alright, Slugger, let's go. We've got a monster shrine here. I have got to get this gun soon. Otherwise, I'm just going to be a goon. A goony good who is using a build based on a gun that we do not have. Ooh, they missed all their shit. Did I just back myself? I did back myself into a corner. I may die here, so we're going to put down... fuck. Can I walk out? I can. Nice, we made it. This shrine is an absolute pain in the ass. Every single time. It's always loaded with the, what are they called? The amalgamations and the flesh hulks and some manner of spawner, and it's like, early on it's not a big deal, but in the later stages of the game where the shit gets harder, or if you're in Elite or Ultimate, this shrine in particular is just a massive pain in the Hoonswoggle, because this shit just does not die. Like, look at it. I'm not dying either just yet, but it lives forever. Ugh, it's too tanky to be this early on in the game. I'm actually losing tons of... Ugh. Can I get out? I'm blocked in, huh? Yeah, I fucking do it. Shouldn't have come back in this little room, but I had to do it because my brain does what it wants to do. Alright, let's get out. Thank you. All the enemies are dead. But you could see, like, that whole time my health was just plummeting, and I had to hit so many fucking heal buttons. Oldenar's Stabilizer. I think that is a good belt. Military Conditioning. I need to definitely stop and take a look at that, but that is probably for another time. Let me pick up all the green stuff. My inventory is full. No. Okay, we're going to... I'm actually going to max out Cadence next. I want this to be done quick, so when these bullets go through people, they actually delete everybody. Are you still alive back here? Go away. I also need to have a lot of attack speed for this build because I want that third shot to happen very often. So shots number 1 and 2 aren't doing a whole lot of good at the moment unless they trigger a Zul'Hans or a Markovians. So attack speed is going to be pretty important on this build as we progress so that we can get more Cadence Blasts. Bladents? Casts? Those are... One of those words is fun. The other one is a thing that you use on Broken Bones, and that isn't something I've ever had to deal with. Mostly. Let me know if you have never broken a bone down there in the comments section below. I actually have broken a bone, but I didn't have to get a cast, so you know what? I'm gonna call that a win. I'm gonna call that a record-breaking run. I think it was like, what, 23 years before I broke my first bone, and it was in my hand. Can you believe it? The one thing that I need to be able to use to play video games, and my whole body was like, no, this one, this bone right here, this is the one where the integrity is going to fail, and you're going to have to wear a motion destabilizing harness on it for a month. Man, that was painful. But luckily, there's a lot of slower games out there, too, so I just had to, you know, calm down a bit on what I was doing. That was a fun time in life, for sure. Couldn't drive anywhere, couldn't fucking... Working was awful, because you only got to type with one hand. All the jokes made at my expense for being one-handed for this reason or the other, because I'm a child and I hang out with other children who make very childish jokes. It's fine. It's totally fine. At least I didn't go blind, right? Let me know if you got the joke. And the gun. Oh! Turns out if you aim poorly, you will run at the enemies with your balls out instead of shooting them. That, in and of itself, is a pretty bad thing to do with a ranged weapon. Boom. Got it. They're just a random zombie. Okay. Trying to do as little editing on this video as possible. I actually really want to get into the swing of making all 4 of these build videos at the same time so that I can pace them out, because at the moment having a little bit of trouble keeping the video motivation, you know, pounding. I definitely need a schedule and a routine to keep up with this, and I really need to keep up with this because we're about to hit that 1,000 sub mark. And let me tell you what, that will be the day I learn how to do a backflip. Probably not. Last time I did a backflip, I landed on my head, and I was a child, so, you know, I'm stunted for life, but it'd be nice, right? That would be super nice. I guess that's just another perfectly natural segue, though. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, just do it. Be the cool guy who helps me get to my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And then maybe I'll get another 10,000 and another 100,000. And then I can never work on anything but videos again, right? That'd be cool. Thumbnails, we gotta start trying a little bit harder on those. Gotta get picked up in places. Maybe someday I'll figure out the YouTube methods. Or maybe I should just take a class, you know? Anyway, YouTube struggles aside, we're getting close. So I appreciate everybody who is with us up until now. It has been super handy. Not only for, you know, just getting the number up, but for my motivation. Every time I see that number every week going up, it's pretty helpful. Pretty helpful to just sit down and do this stuff. The wall is broken. Let's go get us a shrine after I kill all the zombies. I don't actually know where I want to put this devotion point either. Boom. Just gotta get an Aether Crystal. Inquisitor's Etched Horn. Okay. Let's see. So what we're gonna do is just type in piercing damage. Can't actually get there. This one doesn't require a melee weapon? Oh, that's interesting. That can be pretty cool, actually. I need 4 yellow, so 3% move speed. It's only 3 points, so I guess we're gonna go with Lion, so we can get closer to the Assassin's Blade, so I can use more ranged attacks. But that is going to about do it for this video, everybody. It was short and sweet. Maybe not really short, but 30 minutes. No editing. I think that's a fair compromise, and I'm pretty sure I remembered to talk about literally everything that I wanted to. Seeing as how we're early on in the build anyway, it's not a huge deal, and we're about to make it to level 24 before this Potion of Clarity runs out. Man, those things are unnaturally good for leveling up. Highly, highly, highly recommend. You get them from the Mammoth Resistance shop people. So get revered with them. Stack up all your fame and stuff with those guys, and then just stock up on Potions of Clarity. Those things are super useful. I started out today, which was about an hour. Well, it wasn't even an hour ago because my hour's not up yet with this potion of clarity. I was level 16, and now I'm level 24. So holy shit. I also need to get the Lokar set, but you know, whatever. Baby steps. I'm working on other stuff at the moment. But yeah, that was it, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out. Peace out, and I will see you in the next video.